So as I have mentioned here, that this is today's objective, just for you guys to become familiar with exactly what you're going to be doing at year end, and what windows to go to and what figures are going to be impacted. The modules we're closing in GP are inventory, receivables, payables, fixed assets, Canadian payroll, analytical accounting, and general ledger. I'm going to go over each one of these modules separately. I'll show you in a few of them where to go to run year end. But in some of the other ones, I will just quickly go over what you can expect when you close year end for them, and what figures will be impacted. So there is an order of steps that we should go through when closing year end. Definitely, you're going to want to make sure that all your transactions are posted in all your modules before you get started closing any of those modules. Except for the general ledger module, you do not have to worry about making sure that those batches are posted before you close, say, the inventory or receivables modules. You want to make sure that the year end is the final step you do in your list of tasks. So that means closing month end or quarter end first before you do year end. So there is an order of operations here. I got it listed as you can see. So just want to make sure when you guys do your year end that you close them in this order that's listed below. So the first module I'm going to demonstrate for you would be the inventory module. Closing this module is optional for you guys. Obviously, if you do not use inventory, there's no need to go in and run the year-end close procedure for inventory. However, if you are using inventory, closing it is going to update some values and fields. And these values and fields, they're mostly ones that are used on reports and in quantity summaries. So as an example here, we can see I have the item inquiry window open for the 100 XLG item. And we can see that what's going to happen when I run the inventory year-end close is that it's going to update this sold amount here to 0. So basically, that's really what we're doing when we're running year-end for each module. We're changing the sold amounts from the current year to last year, and so when we go back into our item inquiry windows, we'll see that the sold is going to be at 0 after the process is run. So therefore, if you're going to be running this process in your inventory module, you're going to want to make sure you do it first thing at the beginning of the year, otherwise your figures aren't going to be accurate. So just let me go ahead and demonstrate this for you guys. So I'm going to switch over here to GP, and I should have a session running for myself. Here we go. We see I'm on the home page right now, but I'm going to switch over to inventory. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up an item inquiry window, and I'm going to scroll over here to the 100 XLG item. So we can see here, if you want to take notice, the sold amount here is 5. So for the current year, we can see that we have an amount sold of 5 of the 100 XLG. So just keep that in your mind, and I'm going to switch over to the year-end process here. So that would be under routines. For every module, you're going to find the year-end close routine. It's going to be under the routine section here, so I'm going to pull that up. We're going to have a few other skill testing questions here. You can fill these out. If you have any questions about these questions, please give us a call or send us an email to the GP support line, and we can get back to you. But if you got everything selected that you want, you can just go ahead and click process. It's actually not going to ask you if you want to run this or anything like that, so make sure you guys always have a backup, as I mentioned earlier. So we're going to let that run to completion, and we can see that now it's done. I'm going to go back into my item inquiry window. Let's just close it down here so we can refresh. And I'm going to scroll back over to the 100 XLG. And now we can see that the items sold quantity is now at 0 after we ran that process. So that's basically what you're doing. You're just updating these figures for reporting and inquiry needs. Okay, so next here we're going to take a look at receivables or sales. So basically there's two processes that's going to be run when we do year end here. There's going to be the calendar close and the fiscal close. Same thing as with inventory. What's happening is you're just changing the figures from current year to last year for reporting and inquiry processes and reports. I'm going to demonstrate here for you guys. I'm not going to go through every module and show you exactly what's happening, because I think you're going to get the gist of it once you see for a few modules here. So I'm going to go back into my GP demo here. See, we're back on the home page, and I'm going to pull up sales. And as I was mentioning earlier, all the year-end process routines are in this routine section. So after we've done things such as printed our statements and done finance charges and wrote up our documents, we're ready to do our year-end close. So we're going to pull this up here, and we can see that there is a fiscal and a calendar portion to this, or you can run them both at the same time. It's going to print a report to tell us what it's doing. So I would always recommend, printing out these reports, especially at, year-end, because if we want to go back and review what happened and see what the implications were, it's always good to have that. So it's going to click process here. It's going to ask if we want to continue. Strangely, it didn't ask us this with the inventory module, but yeah, it is asking us here, so we can go ahead and click yes. It's going to ask us where we want to print the report, and I'm just going to choose screen here. And we'll just let this run. So it goes rather quickly, and so we can see it's giving us all these stats here that it's moving things from the year to date to last year to life to date. So basically there's your year-end process in sales and receivables. So next we're going to go through the payables process here. So this will probably be the last module I'll demonstrate for you guys, because all the other ones are pretty much the same thing. We're just going into routines, answering any skill testing questions that may be in there, and then running the process. So payables, calendar close, fiscal close, very similar to sales. It's going to update some reports for us, and it's going to print out reports after what it did. So I'll go back into my demo environment here. There we go, back on the home page. I'm going to go over to purchasing, and we see I got my routines window here opened up. I'm going to go right into year-end close, and same thing with receivables, option here to run both fiscal and calendar at the same time. What's also nice about this is that it's showing us what our last closing date was. So right now it's blank, but this is a demo environment. So I'm going to choose the option here to print the report, and I'm going to click close here. Going to print this screen again. And there we go, same thing as with receivables. We're just getting a report here on what was moved over from our last year columns into the other columns, current year and year to date. With receivables, there was actually a few other reports that printed out that I failed to show you guys. So on payables, it looks like it's just that one report, but on the receivables side, there was two other reports that printed. So take note here, see, we can see that it has now updated to tell us when the last fiscal close was. So that's nice that we can go in there to make sure that we have closed the year, and we can see when the last time our modules were closed. Alright, so I'm just going to go through the rest of the modules here that we're going to be closing for year end. I'm not going to demonstrate these ones in the demo environment anymore, because I think you guys pretty much got the hang of it now. We're going into routines for each respective module, answering some skill testing questions, and then running that year-end close routine. For fixed assets, we want to make sure we want to going in that correct order that I showed you guys earlier. Refer back to that blog post again for that order of operations that we want to close the modules in. Again, here just gonna make mention that make sure we're running our depreciation to the last day of the current fixed asset year. Make sure that you close your fixed asset books before doing depreciation in the new year. And just gonna stress it one last time here. It's always good to have that backup before we're running year end here, especially on the fixed asset side. There could be a lot of complicated transactions and journal entries we might need to do if there was an issue with running year-end on the fixed asset side, so backing out depreciation might be quite difficult with a whole bunch of complicated journal entries and calculations. So if we notice there's an error, we have a backup, we can always restore to that backup and fix that error. Okay. Canadian payroll, same thing here. I got a list of things here that's going to be updated. Again, refer back to that blog post. That's a more comprehensive list. I just had a few of the more important ones that are being updated here for us. Again, make sure you're contacting Profit if you have Canadian payroll so that we can update your payroll tax codes. Analytical accounting, there's no separate steps for this module. It's integrated with the close for the GL. However, we would recommend, going in to make sure that your data is accurate prior to closing again, and we can utilize that backup that we have if it's not. So the GL is the last module that'll be closed. This one's going to be done after everything else has been done. You can at this step make a separate backup if you wish, just after all the modules have been closed before the GL close. All users will need to be out of the system for this process to be run. And a big thing here to keep an eye out is on the posting types of your accounts. As you know, all the income statement accounts are going to close into retained earnings. You're going to want to make sure that you do have the correct posting types set up for all of your accounts. What we recommend doing is going into Smart List and running a Smart List on all of your accounts and adding in the posting type column so we can see which ones are income statement and balance sheet accounts. Every year we do have clients reaching out to us saying that oh no, I added a new account this year and I accidentally had it as the balance sheet account and therefore it didn't close to retained earnings. So we do see that quite often. Thankfully, GP has included the ability to reverse our year-end. So in the event that that does happen, we can reverse year-end, change that posting type, and then redo year-end quite easily. Usually it's about a half an hour to an hour process to do that.